Welcome to the Socks Make People Sexy Let's Play Apple Tarot Week 6, and that's a good sign. A moment of silence for Konami. Okay, anyway. So what we're going to be playing this week here is something that's irresistible to me, and I think what's so irresistible is a good shooter. Or a good shoot-'em-up, to be exact. And what's a better shooter than the Gradius series? Well, actually a lot of them. But one of my personal favorites is Gradius, but more specifically, I'm more of a fan of its offshoot series, Parodius, which, by the title you can tell, is Parody Gradius. Parodius. And specifically, we're playing Gokujou Parodius, which is the second game for the Super Nintendo, although it's also an arcade game as well, too. There's Parodius Da before this, which is also for the system. Now, we're playing the Super Nintendo version here, and with this version, it actually gives us a nice variety of characters to choose from. Now, as you notice here, each character is a different Konami property or different Konami character. You saw Goemon, you saw Upa, you saw the Vic Viper, there's Twinbee, there's the Penguin from, I believe that's the Penguin from Penguin Land, or Antarctic Adventure, but we're actually not going to play as any of them. We're going to play as my favorite, the Octopus, Takasuke. I just, for some reason, like the Octopus. He's pretty cute. And he has a little hat in this game, too. He's pretty... I love him. Anyway, so as you notice here, it's a horizontally scrolling shooter with the style of Gradius. And when I say the style of Gradius, I mean that bar at the bottom of the screen. Now, you notice there's different words on there that are different power-ups, and I'm collecting these different objects. Basically, with Gradius, you collect these small objects, that enemies drop, and they make the bar go forward on the screen. You will then, when you get to the power-up you want, you press the button to select that power-up, and it will, trigger the bar to go back. You need to collect enough power-ups to get the other ones. Like, for example, to hit the Ripple, I need to collect 4 red power-ups to hit Ripple, so that I can use Ripple. Speed Up, of course, is just 1 power-up. And when you access a couple of them, too, like Two-Way Shot, they'll go away. And, like, Tail Gun, for example, will go away when you hit it, but then you can access Ripple later on and switch between the two. It's a pretty cool system, but as you notice here, there's a little twist to this. Instead of doing Gradius stuff, we are instead doing Parodius stuff. Which, as you notice, this stage has now started to play Glenn Miller's In the Mood, and we are now going to get in the mood of some shooters. And as you notice, this game can get pretty heavy still, even though it's a really silly look and really fun-looking crane game. As you notice, even the first level here can get pretty hectic with how much is actually on the screen, and that's kind of why I think this game is irresistible. With Gradius, these games are all sort of overpowering, and depending on how good I am with Gradius, depends on the alignment of the stars, and in this particular playthrough, the stars did not align. I'm going to warn you right now. But why I think this is so irresistible is because Parodius keeps you going with how silly this game is. If you notice, I am going to admit, I have the lives cranked up a little bit. I really don't care. Gradius is about a good challenge here. Parodius is about being really silly. It's about grabbing this power-up that lets you shout random catchphrases, where in this game, they're all in Japanese. I don't know exactly from them too. We have a couple math formulas, as you see there. I know in Parodius Da, one of them was wear a bikini. And that's basically Parodius. It's a very silly, very fun game. And as you see by the look, it's very colorful, very bright, very cheerful. It takes Gradius bosses and puts them in the weirdest situations here. And that's why I like this game a lot, because even though it's difficult, it's so silly, you want to find out more of what this game's going to throw at you. Like these birds with the top hats that drop a lot of power-ups. I like those birds, they're great. But even then, we come to our first boss, and for example of what this game is going to throw at you, we have a picture of a ballet dancer in the background. Yeah, it's pretty normal, I guess. And then the boss comes up. And as you will see, the music has changed now, and we now have a panda with a tutu. Or a panda wearing a tutu with a bird on its head. Not really a bird, it's more of a bird head. And that's the weak point, actually, for this boss. Basically, you go back and forth across the screen, the panda will twirl things, it will twirl itself, and random things will fly around the screen when you get to the other side and just shoot the pink bird. Have the tail gun on here, it makes the boss a little quicker. That's what I'm doing here. Takes a few shots, and boss just goes back and forth and gets faster as you kill it. It's really nonsensical and just fun. I mean, look at this thing. He's adorable. I love pandas. It's probably my favorite animal. But it's a cute little panda in a tutu, and it explodes when you kill it. And then it goes back to the normal Gradius screen, which, to be fair, this is Gradius. It's going to have the same formula. Now, you notice as well, too, there were the other power-ups. When I had that screaming power-up, I had collected a bell. This game also uses the Twinbee bells from the Twinbee series, and combines them to have other different power-ups that the Gradius series just doesn't have. That's great. Again, too, it's kind of a combination of multiple Konami settings and styles, too, along with this. And you saw the different characters from different Konami games. And you see, too, we're going to have... It's just an overall parody game. It is what it is at this point, too. Of course, it has the same Gradius style, first parts of the levels here, too, where it just kind of throws you waves of enemies, and then we'll throw you to a new area. Kind of like, along the more lines of probably Gradius 3. There. And this game, too, also has some of the problems of Gradius 3, like a bit of slowdown when the game gets pretty hectic. Now, I have this game on cart, and it actually runs about the same as you're seeing here, even with emulation as well, too. You're still going to have that same Gradius slowdown from Gradius 3, at least. I believe he's running on the same engine. And I'm going to be perfectly honest, I do like Parodius more, but I have a really soft spot for Gradius. Now, one thing you're going to notice here I picked up was that shield power-up. That shield power-up is going to be great, because it basically blocks every shot that's being thrown at you. And the shield power-up, of course, is the last one in the lineup, and it's probably the best one. And that's what you're really doing with Gradius. You're tossing around these different power-ups, and then making sure you try to get the best ones available at that time. Switching between Ripple and Tail Gun at the right times, although I mostly rely on Tail Gun. And then also avoiding large enemies like the Cat Battleship. The Cat Battleship is absolutely adorable, by the way. Now, again, you have these different from this too, you have these different options that follow you around, and different weapon variants do exist in Gradius, and Parodius has those too, but it's with different characters instead of having different weapon formations. Or making your own, like in Gradius 3. Now, that shield power-up, though, does go away as it takes more hits, and also when you grab a bell as well, too. Like the silver one here, it is going to take that away instead and have you shout random catchphrases and also kill you. But that's okay, because, again, the fun of Parodius is the wackiness. It is a challenging game and a quarter cruncher as well, too. But overall, this game keeps you going with the wackiness, and again, you're fighting a cat battleship to John Philip Sousa music. It's great. Now, I don't kill the cat battleship here because I want it to live. At least that's the reason I tell myself. But actually, it's because I suck. Now, after the cat battleship, we have a boss coming up. And I figured, instead of telling you about the boss battle, I'm going to sing about it instead. To the tune of Giant Woman from Steven Universe. All I wanna do is see you turn into a giant woman, a giant woman. All I wanna be is someone who gets to see a giant woman. All I wanna do is help you turn into a giant woman, a giant woman. All I wanna be is someone who gets to see a giant woman. Oh, I know it'll be great, and I just can't wait to see the person you want together. If you give it a chance, you can do a huge dance, because you are a giant woman. You might even like being together, and if you don't, it won't be forever. But if it were me, I'd really wanna be a giant woman, a giant woman. All I wanna do is see you turn into a giant woman. Thank you all, I'm here till Thursday. So, that was a giant woman, or a giant mermaid in this case, with a ship on her head. A really nicely animated giant mermaid, by the way, too, especially for this version, the Super Famicom. Now, the arcade version obviously is going to look nicer, and the Sega Saturn version, which this is also a version of that too here for that, also is going to look nicer too, because that one's based on the arcade version. Now, I actually just picked up that version too, and it's pretty good. It's another version I recommend if you can import Saturn games, which is a really easy import scene if you want to get into that. Anyway, we have balloons. Don't touch those balloons because they'll kill you. Yep, that was another death. This game gets tougher from here. And like I said too, though, this game's a quarter cruncher, but you can get around it in this version. You can crank up the lives to how many you want. You have a whole bunch of credits to blast through the game, and really it's to let you see the wackiness. That's why this game is special. Now, this level is an example of our vertically scrolling level. It's basically shifting up and down whenever you're moving up and down. And I'll admit, this is where it gets a little tricky for me too, and I tend to stick towards one path here, even if it gets me killed. But this level has these walls made of cookies that you have to break through. This is kind of a bakery theme level. And we have these little blob guys with chef hats that can be killed. We have these moles that are digging around the cookie cake structure. And of course we have penguins, because Gradius has penguins. No Moai statues yet, that'll come later. But then again, you have these blocks that drop on you. Be careful, because if they drop on you, that's a death. By the way, if you haven't noticed, one hit is a death in Gradius. Now, again, this cookie structure, whenever you beam into a level here, you're not going to die right away. You know, it gives you a little bit of frames of invincibility when you do. So don't actually knock yourself into like a cookie structure, because that's also going to hurt really bad. And what you want to do with this structure here, you want to use your regular shots to blast through the cookies. Your side shots won't do it. You have to use your main shots. And probably the ripple will work better here, but I don't have it here for some reason. Again, I prefer the regular shot or tail gun. Now, those bombs that are laying across the cookie structure here, you want to actually hit those bombs to blow more of the structure up. And that'll give you a little bit more passage around here. Now, what could also happen is that you will get stuck in between two solid places and you'll accidentally die when you get hit. That's what happened there. But those crabs are actually coming in on the side, and they would actually have those drop there. Now, you want to use your shots very well here. Keep hitting the fire button. There's no rapid fire in this game, by the way. You kind of just keep going forward here, and eventually you'll get out of this cookie structure, and then we'll start heading towards the boss. Now, the boss is another one of these parody Gradius bosses, and is going to be coming at the left here too. And as you notice, it is a giant pair of lips with those icing things that you use to put icing on cake. I don't actually know the name of those right now, but that's okay. So, this is another style Gradius boss that's in another Gradius game. And as you see, this game doesn't take itself too seriously, as usual. So, the boss basically has two attacks. One, it goes towards the left of the screen and tries to smash you. If it hits you, you die. Or it also uses its icing things to cause icing at the top and bottom and kind of trap you in the middle here. It then will use these two other lasers to do this, do this in shots across the top and bottom. Now, you want to stay in the middle, either onto the far left or towards the center. Now, I'm staying towards the left. I'd probably recommend you get towards the center so you can actually hit those little guys in the center of the lips easier. If you're towards them, you can put more shots on them and kill them faster. Now, the boss will either continue to do this until it's dead, or it'll actually leave the screen if you take too long. Now, in this case, I will let you know the boss is going to leave, because, like I said, I suck. Now, again, it's whatever you want, though. Do you want the higher score for killing the boss, or do you want to continue the game forward? Whatever you do, it's up to you. It's great. It's Parodius. It's something you're going to have fun with. And overall, that is Parodius. A really fun shooter. Specifically, like I said, this is Gokujou Parodius, which is actually for the Super Famicom and also for the arcade, and also for the Sega Saturn. I recommend that version if you want the arcade version. Really easy to import, and even Gokujou Parodius for the Super Famicom is also really easy to import too. And something I highly recommend. So hey, I thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a great rest of the evening.